All right. Today is chest day, and we're going to go hard as usual. You know, get some good pumps, some good squeezes, all around too. Compound, isolation, doesn't matter. I found that when I use the machine press, my chest gets could pump with it as well as the first workout. Smith machine as well. I'm using the Smith machine so I can build strength as the incline. That way, because I do want to build the upper chest. That's super important. And yeah, what else? I mean, I'm really just doing pullovers and see if I could get if I could see visually if there's a different result doing that. If it's the same, then who knows? I might change it and might replace it with a better workout if I find one. What's more important is, like each workout that I do complements the other in terms of my energy levels, and that can get me the best squeezes to make my chest bigger. And so, yeah, that's the plan. I'll see you guys there. It was pretty easy for the first one. Easier than last time I did this. The deload is effective. Just increase the weight. I'm trying to figure out what my max was. I don't know if there was a 45 and a 35. I'm not sure, but I'll add it. No. We'll just put it with a 5. I think I see one there. In my opinion, the hardest thing is always the first push when you have to lift off. After that, that's hard. Damn. Okay. I don't think max was 35, but yeah, it's good to try. Yeah. For some reason, I lifted off. All right, take 2. done max. It's still a Smith, but the one right next to this, 45 and a 10, so 55. Well, we'll start with 35 and build it up. Not bad. Let's increase. I got new electrolytes and this tastes a lot like lemon. I'm not sure if I did 7 there. Maybe. If I did, I increased that like maybe 4. Let's increase it to 5 instead of a 10. And we'll see. Inclines are a step-by-step. This isn't the first time that, even when I was when I lived in California, it was the same thing. Inclines are the hardest chest workout for me, which is a good thing because it means that my body is not as resilient when it comes to this, and that's a good thing. Whatever workout that you're not resilient in, that's when you need to do it more because that's what's really going to push your muscle to grow. Of course, doing it with good form, but yeah, that's the exact reason why I do this on Smith, because if I do this shit on free weight, I wouldn't be able to push the failure like this. I'll likely leave 1 rep out, so the bar won't hit my fucking face. So I've never done it on this, so I've always done it over there because I realized just yesterday that this thing existed here. Can I move this thing? Let's see. So but I just want to see how. I think I'm gonna have to do this. And that's too late as well. No, 27, 27. That's around 50. Let's put 45. These are slightly different than over there. And the other crossovers that we do in the other gym, because these are more spread out. So the fact of coming in, it's like, it's not bad actually. But if I'm, like, if you compare maybe this to this, for me, I feel it more there. But let's see. What happens if we drop this down? Uh, that is good, but shoulders start to play a bit, which is not. Let's do it before. Obviously, it could be the way how I'm doing it, because I don't do it. I do it in an old school way. I just like to kind of duck down. I don't do this thing. Maybe if I do this, I can feel it there. So far, on preference, I think I like the one that we've always done it. Let me do it one more time, but without ducking over. Now that's weird for me. I've always been used to ducking down. Let's just do it in the other one that we've. I just wanted to try this one out. Yeah, these are so much better than over there. Fuck that bullshit. These are better. Look, over there, they're way wider. So if you're wider, it's like you can't utilize your elbow too much. So a lot of it's straight. And because it's straight, your shoulders start to get in play a bit. At least the way how I'm doing it. I don't know if you're doing this. I just don't like to do it that way because I don't feel it much in my chest. But here, this is a different story. I already felt it doing like 4 reps. Yeah. Fuck the machine there. Let's keep doing it. You know, it's weird because when I did this with my dad, I did max here like 45, and then I was doing 40. I was doing 35 with no problem. But now, not so much. Maybe it's because I didn't re-exhaust that day as much. So maybe my energies were way higher compared to now. That likely could be it. Because it makes no sense that I can do max of 45 and I struggle with now 30, trying to get to like 15 to 14 reps. Hey, next time, Allah. Because for these past 2 workouts, I've had in mind like, all right, we're gonna do pec deck, but my max is 45. So I would start with the 30 and 35, but it's too heavy. Yeah, that day, I definitely probably didn't go. I didn't fatigue as much during the first workout. I mean, there's no way to explain it because, especially on that day, I didn't even eat the last meal, and we're on a bulk, you know. So, no, that because that wouldn't make any sense, especially after the deload. Like I have a lot more strength, so no. I think the max would likely be a 35 than rather 45. That way, we could start at 25, then put it to 30, then put it to 35, and then we'll go to 35. We'll do 8 reps. To 30, we'll do 12 reps, and then doing 25, it could be 15, 14. All right, let's do pullovers. Pullovers are just always like you have to. I don't know what movie it was, but like there's a movie where I remember there was a guy that just he's like looking at the other and he's doing like a bunch of gestures trying to guess what he's thinking. I feel like this when I'm doing pullovers because a lot of times it's a lat thing that gets your tricep, but when I'm coming down and coming up, I'm like, you better connect. You better connect. I'm like stretching and connecting. Yeah. Let's change these for a 55. Yeah, I can finally breathe. Jeez. Okay, so we're done for chest for today. I'm gonna finish it off like always with chin-ups and then pullovers. And I'll do a bit of calves because we always do that. And yeah, just as usual, we'll pose down and we'll see what we did. Let's pose down a bit into this old room and let's see what we're packing. So I first want to see whether this is too bright. This is too bright. No, that's about good. I don't know about you guys, but maybe it's just me. I don't know if my chest has more outline to it. Not bad. Now, in terms of chest, I think it's the cable crossovers that wasn't able to push it out as much because I get a pump when I do those. Pullovers are pretty good. All right, let's get to the car. All right, so not a bad day today. My strength has gone up a bit for chest. And that's because on incline bench, you know, I used to do weeks ago. I couldn't do it now, free weight. I couldn't do free weight consecutively 45 pounds for several reps. Now I can. Not for a lot of reps, but let's say 8 to 10 reps. When I was sick and I was doing the incline, I couldn't do probably more than 2 or 3 with the 45. I remember? Like on the third set to second set, when I was on the third set, I couldn't do it. I think this was different though, because on that incline, I started with the 45 and then the 10. So I was already fatigued with the 10 because I was trying to do 2. I tried to do 3 and I got to 2. And then I completed that one by doing another 3 of the regular 45, and I couldn't do more than that. Oh, hang on. I just realized that this thing is on my phone. So you guys probably weren't hearing me that well. My bad. Well, I think you guys were. Let me see. And yeah, like, so with that, my strength has gone up a bit for chest. That's why I said a bit. I'm able to do, let's say, 2 more reps with the 45 reps. I mean, with the 45 weight. Doing a 45 and a 10, being a 55. Not yet, right? Just not yet. I need to build a bit more strength with it, which is just keep on doing that Smith machine. And let's say for the pec deck, I thought my max was 45 because I did that last time at EOS, but I didn't do it with great form, so I don't know if that would count. But for 45, yeah, and 35, like I felt like a lot of strength when I did it that day. But I think it's because I would say likely that day my chest wasn't as fatigued, which goes to show that I think my chest has a lot better reaction to a machine press compared to a bench press, because I'm able to stretch more and peek out my chest. I can't do that with bench. Neither when I'm coming down and stretching it downward, I can't do that either. So the fact that I can do it with a machine press goes to show that we can exhaust a bit our chest by doing that compared to a bench press. Now, bench press is a compound exercise. I'm aware of that. You inevitably play in with shoulders, with arms a little, but mostly shoulders. That range isn't the same. But bench press isn't really a thing that... everyone has a chest. That's the thing. Every guy has a chest. And a lot of people, like, there's a lot of people that say not a lot of people have an upper chest. That's also true. But I feel that in order to get an upper chest, you have to really focus on the range of motion when you're doing upper chest. Because if you don't, you utilize other parts of your pec. So if you're targeting a specific part on any muscle, it requires more manipulation with the range of motion. If you're doing upper chest and you're coming downward, your elbow should be ideally closer to you than outwards. Because if you're doing outwards, you're going to be doing a lot of the outer pec than rather the inner upper, which is the upper chest. That's why these movements, when you're inward, or let's say semi, and you're pushing up like this with a full stretch, you get to feel it. A lot of people do inclines because they're trying to do upper chest, but a lot of the times when people are doing incline, they're too outward, and so they're getting overall pectorals than rather let's say a half of it. Now, nothing is too grand muscular to say like I'm gonna do an exercise and only target a specific part of a type of muscle. Like, no. Yes, doing an incline in a certain way will get you more upper chest. That doesn't mean that it's not gonna get you any of the other parts of your chest. It will get slight outward and maybe over here. But majority, let's say, of the effort being pushed on that weight, being at 70%, being at 80%, should be around your upper chest. You're not gonna fully, no exercise that you do will likely do almost 100% in a specific part of a muscle on pushing the weight. That's not how it is. So this plays a part when you're doing isolation workouts. In isolation, that's why they're called isolation workouts. They focus on a particular part of your muscle. Not a specific exact part, but a particular area, right? So if I do cable crossovers, that helps a lot with striations and it helps the chest bring out closer. Another thing too is that doing cable crossovers helps, I would say, the mid lower to upper chest. The way how I do it, because when I do cable crossovers, I'm always feeling this whole part. Not just this part, not just this part, but this whole part. Why? Because it's an isolation workout. So it's called an isolation, but it doesn't exactly particularly target a specific part of your muscle. So let me rephrase this, because I don't want to confuse you. An isolation is a workout that just does the muscle, that just does the chest, or just does the quads. A compound is something that doesn't just do one muscle, it does 3 muscles in one. But let's say for pec decks are the same. So what I'm trying to say here is that when you want an upper chest, you want your upper chest to majorly be moving the weight than the lower chest. How do you do that? Changing the grip angle, whether it's wide, whether it's narrow, being it somewhat narrow, pushing it, having it in stretch like this, have your chest up and push out, and have your upper chest do it. When you go outward, and that's why cable crossovers, I have it with my upper chest, when you stretch your arm outward, backwards, not straight like this, but outward like that, that's why you see me in the video that I stretch. It's like I'm about to fly. I stretch my whole arm, because when I stretch, it locks in, it's like it switches, like, think about it like a clock. It switches to the upper when I go like this, and when I come inward, because I switch it to the upper, it's now contracting the upper, not just the upper, but also the lower too. But majority of the weight that's coming down, that's why I'm locking, is my upper chest. That's what's going on. It would be around 70%. Yeah, 70% of the effort is putting to the upper chest to come downward. So that's just tips on how you do these. My measurement day is coming in, it's almost July. Today's the 27th. So, and I think by the time you guys will be watching this, it might be July probably already. But by July 10th, I'm going to remeasure my muscles and see if there's been an increase on my chest. If there's been an increase to, if the increase hasn't gone up in the rate that I wanted it to, then I'm gonna get a spotter every time for chest days. Because I want, the spotter is meant so that I can go to failure more. I can only go to failure to a particular certain point when I'm doing it by myself. Because if I'm doing an incline on a Smith machine and I push, but I can't anymore, like meaning I literally cannot push it outward, or else it will likely, it doesn't mean that it will, right, but it will likely compromise the form, which means my shoulders will lock out, right, and so it will fall down, that sort of sense. But if I have a spotter, they can slightly tap on the weight. That way, if I'm pushing like this, what that means is that if I can't push it up, that means I have 2 more reps, because my chest needs more intensity, that's the word, intensity, to have a bigger rate of growth. That's my idea, okay? That's what I'm gonna do. So yeah, that's it for today. I'll see you guys next time.